we are at roughly the midway point of the MLS season.
I was worried you were going to say that.
And you said Vancouver were going to finish at the bottom.
Yep.
Just let me look. I'm still scrolling up. Oh, there's Vancouver there. They're at the top.
At the time, it was a great take. Yours is coming, by the way.
I had the LA Galaxy winning.
You did. You did. Which, as bad as my takes were, that's amazing. Let's go.
Unfiltered Soccer with Landon and Tim, presented by Volkswagen. Volkswagen has long been a supporter of soccer in America and has proudly been a partner of U.S. Soccer for over 5 years.
LD, my guy, back for another episode of Unfiltered Soccer. I keep laughing at you. You're a very busy man nowadays, by the way. Doing doggies back and forth to the studio in LA, covering the Gold Cup, doing our pod. How's things, man?
Good. It is. It's tiring, you know. These tournaments are tiring, but it's fun. There's been a lot of drama, a lot of talking points, a lot of stuff to talk about. What is that? Is that an Alabama shirt, by the way? I was just looking.
Alabama FC. It's my daughter's USMNT team.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
What about you? Weren't you at the Fanatics thing this weekend?
I was at Fanatics Fest this weekend, which was at the Javits Center in New York. I was there 2 days, Friday and Saturday, doing a bit of signing. I did some stuff for the Premier League and NBC. Bro, it's a second year that they did this, and I was blown away, bro. I mean, really? LeBron James was there, Tom Brady was there, WWE.
Oh, I saw the thing about Brady winning something. Didn't he win some? He won some like event or something they did and won $1 million. I'm like, that dude needs $1 million.
Yeah, please give that away. But it was crazy because there's just mobs of so every celebrity or athlete has basically they're just mob of police and security around them, and you kind of move through this crowd, and people just are screaming everywhere, it's LeBron, it's it. They didn't scream my name, but they scream other people's name. Nah, they're like, it's okay, it's Tim Howard. We're looking for Joe Burrow. Where's he at? So it was crazy. I mean, it was crazy for me to see. There was one point I was in the green room, and LeBron and Steve Nash were doing a quick pop of their podcast in the corner, and then Logan Paul was getting interviewed in that corner. I'm getting shoved around. I'm like, I'm getting out of here. I got a coffee. I'm like, get me out.
They're tapping on you, and you're like, not right now. I'm not going to sign. And they're like, no, can you just get out of the way, please?
I will say this NYPD officer, he was like, yo, my boss doesn't look. Let me get a selfie. I'm a soccer fan. He's like, never mind LeBron. I was like, that's my guy.
I love when they do that. I love when I know I can't do this, but can you please just take a picture?
But it was cool, man. It was cool.
Hey, I just forgot. Hold on.
Yeah.
Shameless plug, but I've been talking about the book. Look, I got the cover. We got the cover done.
It looks great. You look better on the cover.
I look way better.
It looks good,
Isn't
man.
That
it looks
cool?
Great. Congratulations.
Yeah, I totally forgot. I wanted to show
awesome.
that today. Shameless plug.
Is that my signed copy, or that's the one for your library?
Just keep checking the mail, bud. All right, guys, follow us at Unfiltered Soccer. Subscribe to the show as always. YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify. You can email Jordan at feedback@unfilteredsoccer. All right, Timmy, right in USLNT on USMNT.
Sure.
Lots going on. So the US beat Saudi 1-0. So they went to their final game yesterday, only needing a point against Haiti, and even a loss, I think, would have been enough in the end. It wasn't like a perfect game. Pochettino made 4 changes to the lineup. 2 of them were because Luna and Berhalter had yellow cards, so he was smart about not starting them. Luna came in but didn't play much. It was a tense game because Haiti still had a lot to play for, but the U.S., I thought, very maturely still won the game. And it'd be easy to just say, whatever, let's save it. But they did well. Ajimong scored a great goal in the end. Malik Tillman was fantastic again. He's been, I think, really the emerging star of this tournament, he and Chris Richards. And a very good win, and now they move on to play Costa Rica in Minneapolis next weekend. Yeah,
I think they played well. I said, before the tournament, and then at some point, maybe after the Trinidad and Tobago game, I said to you that I want them to blow the doors off these teams. And that didn't happen. And maybe that was a bit pie in the sky. But it's because, look, when you play 3 teams that are going to bunker in and give you the ball, it's hard to break them down. It just is. It is. And so, to the U.S.'s credit, yesterday, they were safe at the back for the most part. Didn't give a ton of chances away, if any real chances. And then they had a bunch of, opportunities. The ball was in the back of the net a couple of times, right? So aside from the 2 goals. So I think they played well. I think they played well. Tillman, this is he clearly, we knew his name, we knew his caliber and his ability, but this is a perfect example of like, not really sure how you keep him out of the team now on any Gold Cup, friendly, big match. Like if he keeps going and stays fit, I mean, I'm saying his name's on a team sheet. That's got to be got to be nailed on. And then Ajamang for me, I hear different arguments. He's a number 9 that makes things happen. He does. And you can talk about clinical finishing and so on. He makes things happen. He drags people along. I know there's going to be some people out there that disagree with me, but show me for the people who doubt Ajamang, I would say show me another US 9 who is dangerous. And dangerous can be categorized a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
But show me another one. And he can do things on his own, LD. And as a U.S. striker, we've talked about this over and over and over again throughout the years. A U.S. number 9 has to be able to do things by themselves on their own, because it's not these games are comfortable, but when stuff really starts flying, you're gonna be isolated. So I like.
I mean, interesting stat for Roger. I mean, he gets so much crap like from people, and people don't understand the sport. And they don't understand that you can be effective without being like this clean, clinical. Of course, if he was a clean, clinical, he'd be playing at Barcelona. Like you know what I mean? Like, give the guy some credit. He's 24. He's making a great career for himself. In his first 9 U.S. men's national team appearances, he's scored 5 goals. That means, Tim, hold on. That means he's tied with a guy who was pretty damn good, Josie Altidore, for the 6th fewest games needed to score 5 goals. Like, he doesn't need to be a world beater, but he's been really effective for this group.
Correct.
So he's been really good.
I've been very good. And here's let me jump on your point. 5 goals in 9 games, right? That people who are he plays at Charlotte and he's young. How old is he?
24, I think.
24. Okay, plays at Charlotte. He's 24 years old. If we look at the other side of it, right? If you want to be a naysayer, he's got 5 goals in 9 games. He's missed a bunch of chances. Okay?
Right.
If he scored those chances and had 10 goals in 9 games, he wouldn't be at the Gold Cup because he'd be on the plane somewhere to Europe because someone would pay $50 million for him. Like, that's how this works. So is he a $50 million striker that's going to play at Barcelona? Not right now, but like, this is good. This is what I'm saying to me. Show me another US 9 who's got that goal record.
Right.
That's it. And you could.
And by the way, and he's available. He's not injured. Other guys are injured all the time. So
yes, I like him. I like him. I think he's. And by the way, all of this, he's growing.
Of course, 9 games. He's getting better.
9 games. Better. Like, by the time the World Cup comes around, I hope he has 20 games under his belt and 5 more goals. That's really good for us.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, LD, it's time for the Unfiltered Refresh, sponsored by Coors Light. Choose chill. Get Coors Light delivered. Go to CoorsLight.com/USLNT. If we're talking about the Saudi Arabia match, for me, Chris Richard chose chill. Chris Richards was absolutely brilliant. There was a block that saved the goal, and then he got the game winner. He's talked about recently, he wants to be him. That he's the guy, give him the pressure, and he'll perform. Chris Richards, thank you from all of us for choosing chill.
Congrats to you, Chris Richards.
Brilliant.
Okay, let's talk about Matt Freese.
Yeah.
So this, Mo and I on set had a decent disagreement about this. So,
okay,
long ball gets.
Tell me before that. Tell me about Mo. Yeah, no, I know what happened, but tell me about your and Mo's disagreement, because as much as I watch you, I didn't see that.
Okay. Well, let me tell you. So let me just paint the picture, and then
yeah.
So ball gets played over the top. Tim Ream tracks it down. For those who didn't see, which I'm assuming everyone did, he plays a difficult pass back to Matt Freese, and Tim Ream would tell you that too. Matt Freese, you can't tell with intent. It looks like he's trying maybe to like pass the ball out with his left foot, and it comes to him fast.
Yeah, who's he passing to?
I think Tolkien, maybe.
I think it was Tolkien, yeah, for sure.
And it kind of bounces on him, gets caught under his foot, and he rolls it right to the Haitian attacker, Luisius, who then takes a touch and smashes it in the far post. It's a big mistake, right? I mean, there's no doubt about that. It's a big mistake. And in retrospect, he would say just put his laces through it and kick it anywhere. I mean, if it goes out for a corner, who cares? Kick it anywhere. My point with Mo is now the group stage is over, right? Pochettino's objective, he has two objectives. He said it, win the Gold Cup and evaluate players. You're in the quarterfinal now. My point is all the evaluation stuff is going to happen, but the goal now is to win the Gold Cup. And Mo, he won't be necessarily as candid as I am on camera. And so he's like, look, I'm not willing to throw Matt Freese under the bus. And I said, I'm not either. He's a fine goalkeeper, but now you need to win the Gold Cup. And I know Matt Turner's not been great. He's not been playing a lot, but that's the guy you need to have in the goal. We saw what Keylor Navas did yesterday against Mexico. Yeah. You need the guy who can make the play. So that's my opinion. No one cares what I have to say. You're the goalkeeper. So that's kind of the back and forth we had. So I think Matt Turner should start going forward. Mm-hmm. I want to hear your opinion on all that.
Okay, so let me give you So my thoughts on the goal and the mistake that Matt Freese made, and whether he should be playing or not. So mistakes happen at the highest level. Mistakes happen. Here's the problem. Ball comes back. Tim Ream, who is a footballing center back, like he naturally takes the ball, wants to play his keeper, wants to play between lines. All that's fine. So he plays his goalkeeper, right? Which is still fine. It's tight, but he plays his goalkeeper. Matt Freese goes to play Tolkien. Okay, fumbles it. It's a bobbly pass. He then tries to play a first-time pass off of a bobble from Tim Ream to Tolkien into a tight window, makes a mistake. Okay. What happens is that ball, right, he knows it's coming to him, so he's shaping. He's shaping to receive it one way or the other, right? Mm-hmm. When he reads that it's hot and bobbly, you lean back, you open your foot up with a really big surface, and you smash it into the stands. Mm. Here's the problem. These kids are not taught to think. They're taught to be robotic. So he would have been taught, and this isn't Pochettino's for the goalkeeper. This is football.
Yep.
He'd have been taught to play, right?
Yep.
So you have one option in that moment. The objective is to play, but they don't have enough gumption to say, I'm going to play 9 times, 8 times out of 10, but when there's an opportunity for me to make a decision, I'm going to make the right decision. So then what happens is, go back in hindsight, lean back, smash the ball into the stands. And if you're an older player, right, and you're a senior player, he's not, he's a young kid, right? If you're an older player, you look at your captain and go, don't freaking play me that ball, mate. Don't do it, right? But the option B is, he's my captain. Can't speak to him like that. So now you do, put the ball in the stands, puff your chest out and go, no problem, we got it. Cool, everything's cool, everything's calm. So one way or another, that ball needs to end up in the stands. He can't ever take that risk. But what I would say is mistakes happen, and there's a learning process, LD. And so he'll learn from that. I still think you can play in moments, but that ball has to go, and he needs to make a simple decision. The problem is, for all those people at home, football now is taught in a way on the training ground where it's play no matter what. See, for me, when goalkeepers make mistakes now, they're just patted on the back and like, oh, play again, keep playing. Where before, if I'd have done that and you were in the dressing room, David Moyes would have absolutely throttled me, right? And so that plays a factor, whether he should be playing or not. I think Poch has made his bed now. I think you have to play him, because I'm not disagreeing with you that Matt Turner is a more experienced hand. What I'm saying is he's ice cold.
He hasn't played, you mean? Yeah.
He hasn't played.
Right.
He hasn't played. Now you're going to throw him in. Do I think he can handle it? Yeah, I think he can. But like, this was my point to you. You'd have been better off playing Matt Freese game 1, game 2, right? Yesterday on the board was a nothing game, right? Play Matt. Turner.
Yeah.
Turner.
Yeah.
You can then actually go back to Matt Freese because he's cooking, and he plays in the quarterfinal. Now, off the back of that mistake, which again, whatever, you win the game, and those are the best time to make mistakes, when your team wins the game. Now we're asking these questions.
Now there's a decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you're asking me, who do I expect to see? And I've gotten this wrong a couple times. I'm expecting to see Matt Freese, because this is what Poch has said. And quite frankly, you've made a really interesting point, because the goal now is to win. But I'm saying, I'll throw back at you, which I agree. I'll throw back at you. If we want to evaluate Matt Freese, you know when the best time to do it?
No, I know.
Right now.
I know.
Right now, because you made a mistake.
The evaluation of everyone is easier and better if we get to play 2 more games after the quarterfinal. If you lose the quarterfinal, I mean, if that mistake happened in the quarterfinal and we lost to Costa Rica, disaster.
Right. Okay. Right. But what I'm saying, you're not wrong. But if that's the case, then the evaluation of Matt Freese is over, because I'm telling you now, if Matt Turner plays against Costa Rica, you know when he's playing again? The semifinal.
Sure.
And if he wins the semifinal, you know when he's playing again? That. And the final. So then your evaluation of Matt Freese is completely over.
Well, I mean, my opinion is he's probably the 5th or 6th choice.
We agree on this.
So what's the point of, anyway.
Okay, right. So if we're casting a bigger scope, right, and this could go for all the players, then what's the purpose of why is Matt Turner ice cold and bring him in for the
I agree,
quarterfinal?
and this was my point yesterday. I said on set too. If you were one of the guys who didn't start this game, you should be concerned, right? Because he brought in Aronson, he brought in Quinn Sullivan, he brought in Tolkien, and he brought in Tyler Adams, but he's a starter. But the rest of the guys, this was the game to give them a chance. So if not, it's like, okay, well, the evaluation's probably over for you guys, because
So final answer going into the quarterfinal for me, Matt Freese plays. Okay. I think because.
Okay, so up next is Costa Rica in Minnesota. Costa Rica, God bless them, they did us so many favors. I mean, 2. They couldn't help. Ariel Lassiter and Warren Madrigal, both injured, so they're not part of the tournament. But Carlos Mora got a second yellow yesterday, and Manfred Ugalde, so stupid, in the 85th minute, just hit a Mexican player in the head and got his second yellow. So he's out, and Tim. That guy's a real player. I was watching him closely yesterday. He's a real player. So I would expect now, coming into the game, if they were full strength, Costa Rica, I would have said, this is going to be a really good game. I expect us to win now. So
the second yellow thing is one of the most stupid things in sports. Like I'm baffled even now. Every time a player gets a second yellow card, or in a match when they can't afford to get one, I'm like that's just really dumb. It's like a really dumb, whether it's the manager or it's the player himself. It's amazing to me when people get second yellows.
I know. All right, so. Let's just talk through the other games. So Mexico is first in their group. They'll play Saudi Arabia. We're playing Costa Rica, and then the other games are tomorrow. Canada certainly has a lot going on. Your guy, Jesse.
Yes.
He's still under investigation. There hasn't been any clarity, but he's still under investigation for, I think there were 3 things. One was he was suspended. So he was sitting up in the stands. One was
first 2 games.
Yeah, was he communicating with his bench? 2, he was apparently sitting in a place he wasn't supposed to be sitting, which who knows. And then 3, when he was told or asked to move, he had some unkind comments. Yeah, some choice words. So he's got a lot. He's got a lot going on. And then in his press conference, this was the best. They asked him about it. And he said, guys, I don't want this to be about me. I want it to be about the team. I'm like, you're making it about you. What are you talking about?
Listen,
just talk about the team. I'm like, you can't have it both ways. So it'll be interesting to see Canada tomorrow. Because by the way, Tim, they drew their second game. There is a scenario where they don't advance. Now, I don't think it's going to happen, but there's a scenario where they don't advance. But this looks like it's on track for a U.S.-Canada semi, which would just be spectacular.
Imagine that. The current U.S. men's national team coach, Pochettino, against the future U.S. men's national team coach and Jesse Marsh. What a matchup in the semifinal.
He said he will never coach for the U.S., by the way.
That's a lie, by the way. That's a lie. He's 100. Jesse will. I mean, if you're a soccer person, he will be lie. He will be a coach. He will be the coach of the U.S. men's national team at some point in the future.
I would think so. Yeah. Okay, I want to talk one more thing before we take a break. So yesterday, this wound me up so hard. So I'm calling the Mexico-Costa Rica game yesterday, okay? Mm-hmm. So for people who didn't see it, please go Google it or YouTube it. There's a goal at the end of the game. I don't know what minute, 86, 87, 88. Mexico takes a free kick. It goes into the box. Costa Rican defender jumps up as he's kind of falling backwards and literally heads it sideways across the goal mouth to about 7 yards out. And Santiago Jimenez jumps and does like a chilena like a scissor/bike and smashes it into the roof of the net. It's a phenomenal goal. Just if you go watch it.
Is that what it's called, by the way?
Chilena?
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Like a sideways scissor?
You didn't grow up in
you
didn't grow up in Southern California.
Yeah,
you have no flair.
Everything's a bicycle kick to me if it's overhead.
Yeah, you guys, no flair. So it's an amazing goal. The celebration, the scenes are phenomenal. And now, like when you're calling a game, you're so excited. And then you go, oh no, is the flag up? And the flag was up. I don't even know if the flag was up. But the center referee then, the cameras go to him and they're zooming in on him. And you're like, oh no, what could have happened here? So they show a replay. And there is a Mexican attacker who's even and onside with the defender for Costa Rica. He doesn't impact the play, but it doesn't matter because he's onside. The Costa Rican defender is kind of a little behind him, jumps and heads it. When he heads the ball to Santiago Jimenez, in the first play where the ball was played into the box, Santiago Jimenez was offside. And my thing was, this is a different phase of play now. Like once that ball is headed sideways, this is a whole new phase, and you can't be offside if the defending team heads it to you. They take like 3 seconds, which is a miracle in this Gold Cup. Everything's taken a minimum of 3 minutes to make every decision. And he puts his hand up and says it's offside, and I just went berserk. I'm like,
you lost it. You weren't happy.
I was so mad. I mean, you cannot take. If he's offside, he's offside. You can't take a goal away from a guy. That kind of goal in that moment, it was incredible. And I'm thinking like, what are we doing? Yeah. Why are we taking goals like that away from?
You made the point. There's goal bonuses and there's all sorts
There
of
are
stuff.
goal bonuses. And by the way, he hadn't scored in the Gold Cup. There's momentum things that can impact his career. Yeah. Now, look, the referee, I'm not saying the referee was cheating. I want to be clear. The wording in the law, a player is in an offside position receiving the ball from an opponent who deliberately played the ball. So the opponent in this case, I think he deliberately, what they claimed is like it was a deflection. The ball went sideways. He headed it hard.
He actually
it wasn't a little nick deflection. So they're saying he didn't deliberately play it. Yeah. I don't know. It's semantics, whatever. But just use some common sense too. It looked like a goal. It looked like a goal.
And for the layman at home, it's like offside is difficult enough, and then this like really muddies the water because essentially what's happened is a guy has scored who was deemed to be offside on an initial play, but the play's already then moved on, and he scores, and so he's like, when was he? It was offside at some point, but yeah, I hear you. It was a spectacular goal that wasn't to be.
It's really I hate it, and like Tim, if you're a NFL fan, you watch a guy catch a ball, fall to the ground, roll over 3 times, 3 seconds go by, and then it like drops out of his hand.
Yeah.
And like by the rule, he didn't complete the catch, but you're like, that's a catch. You can see it's a catch. Yes. And this was the same thing. When you're watching, I've watched tens of thousands of soccer games, it's a goal. Yep. It's not offside. Yep. It's a goal. And so it was frustrating, but I digress. I'm off my soapbox. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be talking Club World Cup. It's been fascinating. I've been, I think, very, very surprised and overwhelmed with how good it's been, Tim.
Yeah.
And we'll dig into it right here on Unfiltered Soccer with Landon and Tim, presented by Volkswagen. Stay right there.
The Unfiltered Soccer podcast is brought to you by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer.
As the U.S. gets ready to host the world for soccer's biggest moment, Volkswagen is helping people discover new turfs and new ways to play the beautiful game right here in the U.S.
From deaf and power wheelchair soccer to beach and futsal, VW is actively supporting all the communities and teams within the U.S. soccer ecosystem. They've signed U.S. soccer talent from across the portfolio of the Federation and will be helping to give these less popular forms of soccer a platform moving forward.
As a longtime friend of Volkswagen, I'm excited to support them in their mission to increase visibility of all forms of soccer. I was recently on set with them shooting their new campaign to do just that.
Keep an eye out for that launching soon, alongside the all-new redesigned 2025 Tiguan. It's a beautiful car. We've even had one with us at our recent live show. Make sure to check it out in person and learn more at VW.com.
All right, Timmy, it's summertime. You remember these days. Kids are home. It's exhausting. You're babysitting all day. I know you don't think it's babysitting. It is babysitting. In order to choose chill, I'm on the golf course, man. My wife
you
knows when it's time to get away and choose chill. See you later. I'm going to go play golf.
I got to be honest. I choose chill a lot in the summer. Going to concerts, family barbecues. I spend a ton of time on the beach. I reach into the cooler, get a Coors Light. For me, I choose chill very, very often.
Coors Light is mountain cold refreshment, crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies. Make the most out of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light.
Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/USLNT. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Beer. LD, let's talk more major summer soccer competitions. Club World Cup. You and I have both been pleasantly surprised with it. I think a lot of people have been pleasantly surprised with it, given the fact that 2 weeks ago we were like, is anyone going to take this seriously? FIFA couldn't sell tickets for it, right? Like they're basically starting to give away tickets. Yeah, really pleasantly surprised with the product on the field and the butts and seats.
Yeah, I mean, FIFA made a very smart decision. They slashed ticket prices, which turned out to be the best thing they could.
Yeah.
Tim, you know those Walgreens receipts, those long ones that come out?
You have
talked about them before?
Yeah.
I might be the only person in this country who was saying I was excited for this. I thought it was going to be great. Everyone's like, this is a stupid tournament. No one's going to care. The players aren't going to. Well, I think everyone's going to eat some crow. This tournament's been fantastic. Every time I'm sitting at Fox every day, prepping, we're doing the Gold Cup, which has been great too. And we have the screens there and we're watching and the Rose Bowl, 80,000 people. This stadium, 70,000 people. Atlanta, of course there are going to be some games that are duds, right? Because just who the teams are. But the South American teams, obviously the European teams, they've come to play and the draws have been fantastic. It's been amazing. And by the way, it's only going to get better.
Sure.
As we get to the knockout stage, it's going to be better.
Some
so
blockbuster games.
Not so humble brag there, but so let's just talk real quick about where the MLS teams are. So LAFC, I think we can say very disappointing. Not the Chelsea result, that's fine, but losing to Esperance was not good. And now they are officially eliminated.
With one game to go. They play
one game to go, but they are officially eliminated. Seattle, I believe, play tonight, and by the time this releases, they are mathematically still alive, but I think realistically not happening.
Probably not happening.
Yeah, so those two have been disappointing. On the other hand, Inter Miami have been, I think, revelatory a little bit. I think people are expecting them to be competitive, but sitting on 4 points and every opportunity now for them to advance.
This whole Messi thing, it baffles me. Like it baffles me that he can still. And by the way, Inter have some players who have played in like major competitions, World Cup, European competitions, and so it's not the entire team, but there's enough of them that can carry the other players, right? So if you're not one of them, you're kind of buoyed by the fact that they're in your locker room and you're in the dressing room. You're not they're not scared, so you're not scared, kind of thing, right? And I guess I'm just baffled at Messi because he's always kind of produced this magic, but at his age, he shouldn't be running the show in games, right? When you and I played against him, you could understand why you're we're not going near that guy. He's right. But now, in every other aside from him and Ronaldo, which we'll get to, aside from those guys, every other player, I don't care how good you are, you end up getting the lumps kicked out of you. You end up you slow down. This guy
just keeps going.
I don't think he's human. It's awesome to watch. It's
just
he can still take over a game in the second half. What?
Yeah, they play tonight as we're recording. This will be released tomorrow. So they play Palmeiras. So if and when, I think we hope and expect that they will get through, they will then have the opportunity to play in a knockout game, which I think should be just spectacular. So that's going to be really fun to watch. All they need is a point, and even a loss could be enough for them to get through. Other results, I think the upset of the tournament so far was, I don't know if you saw, but this Botafogo PSG game was so fun. By the way, I've been in LA, so everywhere you go, Tim, you're seeing these jerseys. You're seeing Botafogo. Sure. I saw tons of River Plate jerseys the other day. It's been so fun to see. The fans are parking and then driving to whatever, the Rose Bowl, and it's been amazing.
Well, you know what's funny? So fun. It's funny you say that. So obviously I live in Manhattan, and same here. I'm surprised only because like I don't see it every day. So like I'll see these random like Botafogo jerseys or like Porto jerseys, like at the cafe and like in my house. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Like of course their fans are here, right? Like, but it takes me by surprise a little bit. It's great. It's
amazing.
Yeah.
And you just, that's why I said in the beginning of the tournament, this is maybe the only country you can really have this tournament in, because you have people from all over the world who already live here.
Yeah.
You know, there are cases where people are, Japanese fans are traveling, or Korean fans, or South African fans, but they just have fans here already. They're immigrants and they're in this country, which is beautiful. And so they're just showing up to support their team that they never get to see here. Right. Botafogo never plays here, ever.
Of course.
I mean, maybe once in a blue moon, but it's been phenomenal. Okay. Let's rant a little bit.
Yeah.
This is, I know I'm a grumpy like old man now, dude, but this was ridiculous. So the Dortmund played Mamelodi Sundowns the other day. They're in Cincinnati. It was like 90 degrees. There's this tweet that went out from the club's official account, by the way.
Do me a favor if you're the club.
Do me a favor. Somebody, I mean, I don't want anyone to lose their job, but please have a stern talking. So their subs watched the first half of the game from inside the locker room to avoid the blazing sun at TQL Stadium. You go first. I mean,
okay, I'll go first.
I just can't.
When you do something dumb, don't draw attention to it, right? And that's what Dortmund did. But my rant, I say it's quick, but my rant is this. It was hot as heck. The substitutes went inside to be cool. Here's a simple math. If those same players in that same heat were asked to start the game and play 90 minutes, you know what they would have done? They'd have started the game and played 90 minutes. So it's not about the heat. And by the way, it didn't get hot in 2025. Teams come here every single summer for the last 20 years and play games. And you know what? The substitutes don't go hang out in the dressing room. And if they do, they sure as heck don't put it on social media. So like, sit on the bench, support your team, and drink some cold water. I'm baffled by it. Honestly, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. It's borderline stupidity.
Is it? By the way, is it even legal? Do you have to be on the? I mean, I guess you could if you were on the bench and you went back to like go to the bathroom or whatever. It's fine, but I just can't. The level of stupidity really. And to your point, if they did it and it was like behind the scenes and they said just spend the first 15 minutes in there and just so you're not whatever.
Sure.
I think it's soft, but whatever.
Yeah.
But then you're tweeting it. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Totally.
God, it was ridiculous.
There's so many other ways to do that. Like you can literally, if you got a player you want to go on as a sub, say like at the 30-minute mark, just go in the back, go in the dressing room, cool off, put your feet up, come back out at halftime and warm up, and you're going to go on second half. Like the whole team it was a bit of a piss take. And I'm not sure. Totally people start to like that. Then started the campaign of like, oh my God, next summer what's going to be like? Nothing's going to happen next summer. Teams are going to sit on the bench and support their team.
Tim, you know where else it was hot, dude? In Korea in 2002. Yeah. It's hard for me to describe how hot it was, okay? Because and the humidity. And we trained for a month in North Carolina ahead of it, where it was equally hot and humid. But dude, I literally couldn't take my jersey off after the game because it was stuck to me.
Sure.
Like you had to have people pulling it off of you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is crazy, dude.
It's crazy.
Anyway, all right, off our soapbox. Okay, so we are at roughly the midway point of the MLS season.
I was worried you were going to say
that. So I just want to remind, but you too.
Yeah.
Of some predictions we had before the season.
Yeah.
And we could pull the video, but I'm going to spare you. So, Tim, you said, and I have the standings pulled up here too.
Okay, good.
You said the Houston Dynamo were going to win the West.
Yeah, I was a little early on that show. A little early.
It's still early. I mean, they are 15 points behind right now, and they are 11th out of 15. But I appreciate their second half team with the Heat. I get it. They will not be in the locker room in the first half. No. And you said Vancouver were going to finish at the bottom.
Yep. Yeah.
Just let me look. I'm still scrolling up, still scrolling up. Yeah. Oh, there's Vancouver. They're at the top.
At the time, it was a great take.
Yeah. So,
but here we are.
Go ahead. Now's your chance. Go ahead.
No, look, Brian White's got 10 goals at nearly the halfway point. We didn't see that coming.
Sebastian Berhalter, national team player now.
Right? Like, I mean, do me a favor. It was a great shout at the time. Don't worry, yours is coming. Yours is coming, by the way. Let's go.
I had the LA Galaxy
You
winning.
did. You did. You did. Which, as bad as my takes were, that's amazing.
So let me just people before you look up your own standings. So
Scroll.
They've played 18 games.
Good Lord. I don't have.
They've won 1.
You can count on one finger how many wins they have.
They have 8 points. They're 7 points behind the next team. Now, I will say, I did say Sporting or St. Louis will finish bottom, and the second and third to last are Sporting and St. Louis.
Right,
so
fair.
I did get those right.
Fair. Question.
But the Galaxy are second half.
This is for our research. Has people have, I think there's a worst to first category. Is there a first to
worst?
Worst? Like, has it ever happened in MLS history? Watch this space. We'll get back to you.
Okay, so in the East, you said Columbus will win the East.
I did.
They are 4th right now, only 6 points out. Okay,
all right.
That's fair.
Not terrible.
Fair. Montreal will finish bottom. Great shout that was. They are currently bottom.
Okay. All right.
I said Inter Miami will win the East. They are 6th. I just saw that. Okay, but are we saying, by the way, in the regular season win or actually win the East?
You're trying to chop and change this.
But I did say Columbus is the better overall team.
You did. So you're 2 places better off.
And I said New England would finish bottom. They were on their way for a while, but they've hit a decent stretch.
No
They're
wonder
now,
the Revs fans hate us.
Oh, they must absolutely.
I forgot you picked them bottom, and I said, like, do me a favor and get out of the heating areas and go sit in the seat. No wonder they hate us.
It was the heating area.
Heating
Everyone's
too
cold. Everyone's too cold or too hot.
Listen, if
in this country.
if they send us tickets, I will go to a Revs game for sure.
I will
I'll go. I'll take it for us.
Okay, so a few things. Let's do biggest surprise for me. I think it's Vancouver. I mean, I don't think anyone saw that coming.
Yeah,
definitely you didn't.
No, I didn't. Van City is great place.
Amazing.
They need to be. They need to be good. That's such.
I will say too.
Fun town.
If you remember in the beginning of the year, I said with San Diego FC, I like their first 11, 12 players if they can stay healthy.
Yeah,
and then they had a few bad road losses in the beginning, but otherwise they've been very good and they've stayed healthy. And I think crucially that is the key for them. They've been, I think, a surprise for me. Yeah. Biggest disappointment, has to be the Galaxy, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, my biggest surprise, I think, is Philly, because I just think when you talk about how good Jim Curtin was, and no one can deny that, right? Like, obviously he got fired and they made a decision, but when you bring in a new coach and a new technical director, but more a sporting director, but more importantly, a new philosophy, I thought that's not a bad thing, but that's going to take some time. And it hasn't taken any time at all. They've been absolutely fantastic.
You know those long receipts you get at Walgreens?
Yeah, those.
Unfortunately, I have one there too, because I said that was going to be a disaster.
They have one. They have one on you.
They've been good. Yeah,
they've been really good. Galaxy, Galaxy are only rivaled in biggest disappointment by Atlanta United. I mean, 4 wins through 18 games.
They've been bad.
Latte Lath, Amaron.
They spent so much money.
There's a lot of money, and they spend money, which is great. They had a new manager come in. Behind the scenes, they changed a lot in their front office. So, like, it's a tough year. I mean, they have an incredible owner. And he backs them with support and finances. So, they might take this on the chin, but not a great season.
The beauty of MLS, though, Tim, is like, as long as you're within touching distance, they're 8 points back. So it's like it's getting dicey, but you win 3 or 4 in a row, and all of a sudden you're back in it. So that's the beauty of the playoffs.
Yeah.
MVP candidates. So I've got 4 here for you, and then I want to hear what you think. So Ty Baribo, 13 goals. He leads the league for a very good Union team. Brian White, team leads the West, and he's on 10 goals.
10 goals, yeah.
Andres Dreyer, who, honestly, if this guy played in LA or Miami or played with Messi or whatever, you'd hear so much more about him. He's a real player. He's got 9 assists, and he leads the league. And then Messi. It's amazing. Like, I haven't even seen him play a league game in so long, but he's got 10 goals and 6 assists in 13 games. It's incredible.
But here's how this is going to work. Okay. Messi's going to be the MVP. Hear me out. I mean, 10 goals, 6 assists in 13 games. Ridiculous. Now, Baribo wins it, or Brian White wins it. If they lead their team in goals, and they win either Philly the East and Vancouver the West. And if
Baribo wins it even if Messi's near the top, Miami's near the top.
I think Messi's already won it.
Okay, I was gonna say, is there a scenario where he's not gonna? They're not gonna award him the trophy.
So he gets to. I think he plays more down the stretch, LD. So he gets to 20 goals. Right, he's on 10, and then the 6 assists goes up to what? 10. If he's hovering at 20 and 10, good luck. I mean, I think he's won it, right? And I think there's some other people who have already put his name on the trophy. And just saying, they're etching. It's like they have the L on there, and they're like, So, but I think Baribo and White could win it if they lead their teams.
Okay. I think, my opinion, Messi's the best player in the world, one of the best of all time. I think the most impactful best player this year has been Dreyer. I really, if you watch him, he is so good, Tim. He really is.
Yeah, he's good.
He is. We'll get back to MLS more after Club World Cup and Gold Cup are done, but it's been a good, exciting first half of the season. All right, when we're back, we will get into your questions in the AT&T Fan Connection and talk anything but soccer right here on Unfiltered Soccer with Landon and Tim, as always, presented by Volkswagen.
There's nothing better than feeling like someone has your back and that things are going to get done without you even having to ask.
Like fans who start to sing and chant at the exact moment their team needs to rally.
A coach who can change strategies at halftime to help their team win.
A keeper is defending your goal.
Or a forward who is always ready to receive the ball.
At Unfiltered Soccer, Tim and I know all too well how important it is to be sure someone out there has your back. And that's precisely why AT&T has a new guarantee.
The AT&T guarantee is all about having your back. When you're with AT&T, if there's a network interruption, they'll proactively make it right with a credit for a full day of service, guaranteed.
Visit att.com/guarantee to learn more. Terms and conditions apply.
AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more, caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for full details.
It's time for the Fan Connection presented by AT&T. Every week, we invite you, the listener, to connect with us by submitting your questions. The best way to grow the game of soccer in the U.S. is to keep asking questions and keep talking about this sport we all love. At AT&T, connecting changes everything. And on USLNT, our connections with you will help grow the game. Time for the AT&T Fan Connection. Most of our listeners' favorite time of the week because they get to hear from themselves and ask us questions, and also Jordan's favorite time of the week because she gets the spotlight. Jordan, welcome.
Hello.
Jordan, who's older, you or Kevin Durant?
Please shut up.
What's your shirt say? Ask me about my
podcast is what it says. Somebody gave it to me as a gift, and I don't want to wear it in public because I literally don't want anyone to speak to me ever. But I thought I could wear it on the show.
That's amazing.
So.
Hey, listen, awesome. I just said to you before this, bring the heat. Like it's been too nice. We don't like. Well, I like nice, but bring some heat. We like a good debate. And you said you got some, so the floor is yours.
I do. Here we go. So this one's from Steve via YouTube. I want to know why the FIFA club games are on the worst possible app. Don't they want people to watch these games? Soccer is so ridiculous. How many apps people need to have to watch all of these games? At some point, the middle finger is just going to rise up and not look back.
Well, I would say, as a general statement, I understand and agree, but it's on DAZN, right?
I believe that's right, yeah.
It's on DAZN, and it's free. So I understand the problem here. Now, if afterwards you don't want to keep paying or you don't want to pay or whatever, that's fine. But literally, they're streaming it free. So
I will say, Steve, there's a lot of soccer competitions and there are a lot of paywalls. I get it. I subscribe to some of them because I want to see the games too. Yeah, it's a little bit of a headache. So I hear you on that. I hear you. I'm not really sure of what the short-term answer is, but
the short-term answer is just download it. It's free. But after that, if you don't want to, I get it. I get it.
True.
I don't know, dude. This is business stuff, Steve. It's over our head.
This one's from Leo via email. I was at your live show and really enjoyed the experience. Thanks for coming, Leo.
Nice.
My question to you guys is, do we know why the Club World Cup games are being played at odd hours, like 12 or 3? Players are saying that the summer heat is affecting them, which we talked about earlier. Why aren't games in the US played like in Europe, where the games start at like 8 or 9?
So the easy answer is just TV, and they want to make sure every game's on TV. So you're going to see this next year, by the way. Games will most likely, I would think, be like 12, 3, 6, 9. And that's how it was in Qatar too. It's just so they can get everything on TV, because they don't want people missing the games. So that's the answer.
Right. And the problem it's the right answer, LD. The problem is also when you start to dig much deeper, it's about television slots. It's about global television slots, right? So we begin to play our games at night so that nightfall can come and the heat can go down. Then they're trying to broadcast to the rest of the world, and they're mostly asleep. So it's not always a perfect science, but there is a method to the madness.
Yeah, it's tricky with time zones. Like it just makes it difficult. It's never going to be perfect. It's just part of the deal.
This one's from Philip via email. First, I want to say how much I love the show. I haven't missed a single one.
Yeah.
You both have played with hundreds of different players in your careers. I'd like to know who you had the best on-field chemistry with. Who was that player that you felt on the same wavelength with at almost all times?
It's a great question. I have two right away. One was Marcus Beasley, and that's literally because we started playing together when we were 15 with the youth national team, the under-17. So as time wore on, we just knew each other. I knew exactly how he wanted the ball, where he wanted it, timing, everything. And then the other was Brian Ching, a guy I played with at the Earthquakes and with the national team a bit. And the reason why is I was classified kind of as a striker, but I was like an underneath striker. And at that time, that was very common to have sort of a hybrid 10/striker. And Chingy was just happy to be big presence, physical presence. So the ball would go into him, and I would move underneath him and run underneath him, and he could find me, lay it off, and then we could combine, and we scored some amazing goals together. But our chemistry was just perfect.
For me, Phil Jagielka at Everton. I played with. He was my center back, and I played with Sylvain Distant and Julian Lescott, and for equal amounts of times. I think Julian for like 4 years, and I think Sylvain for 5 or 6, something like that. But I played with Phil Jagielka, Jags, for a really long stretch. He was an England center back at the time. He was linked to like a move to Arsenal, and he was everything. He would put his body he would defend and block, and he would head balls, defensive set pieces. He just was in the right place. He could take criticism. He could give criticism, and it was never an issue. And Landon, you played with Jags as well at Everton, and just there was nothing I could do no wrong to him, and he could do no wrong to me. Like no matter what the case was, we were always on the same page, and it was pretty special. But you get that when you play hundreds and hundreds of games with a guy.
The thing I liked most about you guys was like if there was a ball that was in between you guys, and in the end you had to come out and clear it last second, you'd tell him you'd go off on him, and then he'd go off on you, but then it was like you guys were fine.
You just knew.
But you just wanted to win.
Yeah, it was best.
Great.
This next one is from James via email and is more of a suggestion of a topic to discuss than it is an actual question.
Okay.
Gentlemen, love when they start off like that. Gentlemen, the podcast is great. Being an owner of a soccer team in Rochester, New York, the team is called Flower City Union. We went from, I had to look up these acronyms, the National Independent Soccer Association 2023 champions, well done, to the National Premier Soccer League. It would be informative to your audience to delve into the lower levels of soccer in this country and the passion that these second-tier market owners have, losing hundreds of thousands of dollars to try and sustain the sport in these smaller markets. It's certainly a labor of love, more so than a business.
Go ahead, Tim.
No,
it was more of a comment, she said. But you started off your career playing for one of those. Was it Long Island something?
No. I played for, get your pens out. I played for the North Jersey, not New Jersey. We were in the northern part of the state, North Jersey Imperials. And we're in the USISL.
What a squad.
USISL, which anyone?
Is that indoor soccer league? U.S. indoor soccer? Is it?
United
No.
States something soccer league.
Independent.
Great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I started so I understand it. And I think that we, again, Landon and I talk about our experiences.
Interregional.
Interregional.
Whatever you want. The I in USISL can stand for anything you want it to. and we understand the importance of it. But what I would say is, more importantly, thank you, James, for your comment. Please, and I am begging you, send me a Flower City Union shirt, kit, jersey. I will absolutely wear it on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to plug, I'll wear it the entire show. But we definitely support all levels of soccer in this country because they play a massive part. So thank you for that.
Agreed.
There's one more.
Good.
She's smiling. Look at her face.
This one's from Will via email. Landon.
Oh boy.
I knew it was coming.
Landon, in the aftermath of the 2014 World Cup, did you ever sit down with Jurgen Klinsmann and attempt to bury the proverbial hatchet? Did you try to repair/rebuild bridges? How are things between you and him today? Y'all cool?
Go on, tell the people what they want. Give it to them unfiltered, like the title.
So, yeah. Great question. So, if you remember, at the end of 2014, October 10th, 10/10, ironically, I had a send-off game in Hartford with US Soccer. Sunil Gulati, I'm really, really grateful to him. They got a plane for me and 15 family members, flew us all from LA to Hartford for the game. I wasn't part of the camp. I wasn't part of, but they flew me in to allow me to have a send-off game in Hartford. And when I got there, Jurgen and I sat in a bar.
Wow. I didn't even know this. Thank you for the question.
Yeah. We sat in a bar and we just talked because it was awkward, right? He never would have wanted me to be called in there, right? And have that. But we sat in a bar, and the interesting part was he came, and I was there first, and he came and sat down, and he had a backpack with him. And I was like, this is kind of weird. Anyway, we just talked, and, we said our piece, and I didn't agree. And, he thought he was doing what was best for the team and whatever. And then he said at one point, this was really interesting. He's like, and I journaled everything that happened during all of this time, and I kept notes on everything that happened, and I'm happy to show you. And I was like, It was really interesting that he and the takeaway was he knew what he was doing. It was very calculated. And he was making sure he took notes because he either had to justify it to somebody, or he felt like you only take notes with things or keep recordings of things when you're kind of scared about what the outcome could be.
Agreed.
So it was interesting, but I give him credit for sitting down. He also, apologized for his son being obnoxious during that time. And then, look, my choices were on the field when I got subbed off. I think it was the 40th minute or so. I was still upset with him. I still, I didn't want to give him any time, but you also don't want to make a bigger deal out of it. And so we had one final handshake, and that was that.
So let me ask you this. Let me follow up. So you played 40 minutes in that game, by the way?
I think so, yeah.
Did I play? I don't remember. It wasn't my day.
No, I don't think you were there.
No, I was there. I was certainly there.
Were you? It was against Ecuador in Hartford.
Oh no, I wouldn't have been, because I took that.
No, you wouldn't have been there. You wouldn't have been there.
Here's what I would say. Is that, by the way, is any of this in the book? Can we tease any of that?
It's actually not. That part of it's not in the book, but there's a lot about that time in the book.
Yeah. Well said. All I would say to the general public is, a manager in a decision where a legendary player who still has so much to offer that team going into a major tournament could never, ever be making a decision, let me quote him, that's best for the team without asking the senior players on that team for their opinion. So you can read between the lines, but you won't have to. The senior players on that team were never asked for their opinion. So it's impossible as a manager to make a decision that's best for the team without gaining that knowledge before the decision.
So I have to ask the obvious follow-up here, otherwise I'm bad at my job. So Tim, you and Jurgen Klinsmann have not had a conversation since he left the national team about that period in time.
No, I don't need a conversation with him. There's nothing to bury. Sometimes hatchets need to stay where they are.
To stay above ground.
Keep the hatchets above ground.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So okay,
Good
so we
question.
got a little spicy today.
That's good.
There you
That's
go.
good.
I like a little
Good
spice.
questions.
But
We don't.
this is all
Jordan, we don't shy away from any questions. You can
This
bring
is all. These are
whatever
all.
you
By
want.
the way, these are all easy conversations. Remember, buckle in and get comfortable when you have uncomfortable conversations.
Amen.
Yeah.
And remember, hell has a trap door, Tim.
I thought it was rock bottom.
I don't think it
Jesus,
fits
hell?
here. Oh, rock bottom has a trap door.
That's where hell is.
Jesus.
in the
Hell?
below
Oh,
the
God,
trap door
this
for
is
rock
taking a
bottom.
I
turn.
love
so-
your sayings. I'm just
Well
using
done.
one of your sayings.
Cheers, bud.
All right. Thanks, guys.
JR, great job. All right, Timmy, ABS,
Yeah.
anything but soccer. I think there's only one way we were going to go this
For
weekend.
sure.
Last night, I was at the Fox Studios in LA, working, doing all the things, but on the TV was the Pacers OKC NBA
Yep.
Finals Game 7. And the moment I think that everyone is talking about, obviously, congrats to OKC, great for them, but Tyrese Haliburton came into the game with a strained calf.
Mm.
Of course, he was going to play. It's
Mhm.
Game 7,
Mhm.
but then tore his Achilles
Yeah.
in the game. And it was right when I saw it, someone was next to me and they said, "What do you think he did? Was it an ACL?" That I said, "Let me watch the play."
Yeah.
And I could just see right when he pushed off, I went, "Oh, that's not
Mhm.
good."
Mhm.
So just sad for him. In moments like that, it kind of took us back, and Andrew reminded of in the chat when Mo Salah was forced off in the 31st minute with that
Yeah.
shoulder injury in the Champions League final, Madrid and Liverpool. It's just a sad moment, and you hate to see it. I think OKC probably win the game
Mhm.
anyway,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
like it's devastating. Now he's out for a year.
Yeah. I look. I've learned not to speculate on injuries, and I think that's important. But
Mhm.
the headline now, aside from, again, massive credit to OKC and SGA. SGA is the king. But should he have played? My opinion is that they're about an hour, give or take, from immortalizing themselves and
Championship.
as champions. Is that worth the risk of the next 9 months? 150%. 150. It'll take him, 9 months to get back from this, a year to get back from this. 150%. And
Tim, there's no question. Sorry, let me just.
Yeah.
If you and I were in that position,
Sure.
there's
And I was.
zero doubt. Yeah, you with your groin.
Yeah.
There's zero doubt we're playing that game, or your hip flexor. There's zero doubt we're playing that game.
Yeah.
Of course we're playing that
you're
game.
gonna play.
Sorry.
And
go
I
ahead.
and I
Of
and I
course you're gonna
think
play.
and when I tore my adductor off the bone in that Mexico game, I have experiences that I can tell you this. Haliburton, I don't remember which game it was, midway through the series, he had the calf injury, right?
Mhm.
There's no doubt these two things are connected, right? And what I mean by that is he would have gone into Game 7 knowing things weren't okay, right? He knew he was going to play Game 7, and he knew that there was more than likely a big risk of something. Now, I probably didn't think he was going to tear his Achilles. He probably thought maybe I'll tear my calf or something, but he knew that there was a risk, and he weighed up the pros and the cons, and he went for it. And I think most people I know in that position would have went for it too. So sad for him, sad for the Pacers, but what a season they had, and hats off to OKC.
Congrats to OKC. It was a great year. Really good year for them. They were the best team all year, and then it's good when the best team wins it in the end. All right, Tim, another great week. Lots will be happening this week, so we'll have a lot more next week. Club World Cup, Gold Cup should be exciting now as we get to the knockout stages. Appreciate you guys. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your pods. And as always, follow us at Unfiltered Soccer for bonus content.
Yeah, thanks so much, everybody. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, VW, and our Fan Connection sponsor, AT&T, and of course, our Unfiltered Refresh sponsor, Coors Light. Have an amazing week. Enjoy all the soccer you can. We'll be back next Tuesday with another edition of Unfiltered Soccer.